Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Only in Illinois, the weekly video recap from Reboot, Illinois. I'm Madeline Dubeck.
And I'm Matt Dietrich.
And only in Illinois would a House Speaker of the Democratic persuasion and a Senate President of the Democratic persuasion file suit against a governor of the Democratic persuasion to try to win back lawmaker pay, which the governor vetoed because pension reform isn't done yet. So why file a suit? Why not just go in and override the governor's veto?
Well, I think that Speaker Madigan and President Cullerton, they had two choices here, obviously. They could go in and call a special session and override Governor Quinn's amendatory veto and restore their paychecks. But how would that look to the people of Illinois? We're coming back to Springfield. We can't get pension reform done, but we're going to come back to make sure that we get paid. Now, the other alternative, which they chose, was file a lawsuit and allege that the governor is abusing his executive power over the legislative branch. And if a judge rules in your favor, then the judge is in effect saying Governor Quinn was wrong in doing this, therefore the paychecks are restored. They also, in the lawsuit, had a very interesting reference that starts the whole thing off, and they refer to a case in 2003 in which Governor Rod Blagojevich tried to cut off the cost of living adjustments for Illinois judges. And the state Supreme Court in that case said that an executive could not do that against the judicial branch. So clearly that's their precedent. The other thing too is that if you get a judicial ruling in this case, it sets a precedent and it avoids in the future another governor coming back and trying to cut off the General Assembly's pay if they don't agree with him or her on gun control or on some gambling expansion or on whatever the issue might be.
Right, abortion or any number of issues. But so from a populist standpoint, Quinn probably comes out looking a little bit better than the two legislative leaders, you think, from a political point of view?
I think fairly or unfairly, Governor Quinn does, and we saw there was a poll shortly after he cut off the veto of the salaries in early July that said that people overwhelmingly thought he did the right thing because the legislature wasn't getting their job done. Why should they get paid? Now, from a practical standpoint, did this advance the pension reform talks? Probably not. It may have even delayed them. It certainly didn't make anyone on the pension committee that's actually been working very hard, didn't make them very happy at all. So, you know, realistically, did it advance anything? Maybe not. But did Quinn score some points? Probably.
But again, it demonstrates that he doesn't really seem to be able to work not just with the legislative leaders of his own party, but a lot of rank and file legislators are, thinking he hasn't shown up for any of these conference committee meetings. He hasn't advanced a proposal for pension reform himself, but he, can take this populist move and try to make some political hay with it.
Well, and it never should have come to this. The governor doesn't deal with the legislature this way. Governors and general assemblies have disagreed for as long as Illinois has been a state, and they fight, and eventually you're supposed to find some kind of a compromise. Not doing it this way. No, shouldn't have come to this.
So it's supposed to be about pension reform, which we still need done, and you can still show your support by signing our petition at rebootillinois.com/pension crisis. Thanks for being with us. We'll catch you on the next edition of Only in Illinois.